Hi everyone, I'm here today to create a how to prepare for a Zoom recital video. So our students are preparing for the recitals that are coming up later this month. Parents, please mark your calendars if you haven't done so already. And so there's ways that we need to think differently about how to prepare for the online environment in Zoom as opposed to things that we would do in the traditional environment in a live setting. Some of the things that have not changed is practice, practice, practice. So the more you play your song over and over, the more familiar you become with it, the more confident you become. In addition to just practicing your song, what is your song supposed to sound like versus what does yours sound like? So in class, we've talked about using resources. You have the tracks. If you open the books that you're using, in the back there will be a website and a code to access the professional recording. There's things like YouTube for items that are not in the book. I would add a note of caution about YouTube is you want to use a professional version of the performance as opposed to Joe Schmo's rendition of insert song here. So those things are fundamental. Those do not change. Additionally, concert attire. Miss Michelle is not showing appropriate concert attire today. This is fine for music class, but when we're performing, you're going to be on a video setting. So we know that concert attire includes dressing up for the sake of the performance. Parents think business casual, that kind of thing for the concert. So those are fundamentals that have not changed in this Zoom environment. I'm going to talk now about some of the things that you do need to consider and how to prep differently. One of the first things is when you are practicing your concert song, so not every single time that you're doing it, but I would say once a day to do a concert run of your performance. So you probably doing your song over 5, maybe 10, maybe 15 times in a row. So by the last time on a day when you're working on it, that would be a good one to practice the concert run. What do I mean by the concert run? What this includes in the Zoom environment is introducing yourself. So the students are going to be introducing themselves, and I'll talk about some of the key points to include when you are introducing yourself, and going to the piano properly, and then learning how to bow in your area so that you're, for example, when you're bowing, you're not too close, and so then your head is cut off. So for example, when it is time to bow at the end of the performance, if you move further away from the device that you're doing, then you can see a proper bow in that setting. So that's what you'll want to be doing on a regular basis. Before I get to some of the key points, and I'll do a sample intro for you guys, I'm going to show an ideal piano setup. I know we've talked about that in class before. So I have a photo here that I'm just going to screen share and show to you guys. What's great about this example when we're setting up for this Zoom environment is I can see the full keyboard that the student is playing on. I can see how happy and excited she is for a music class. I can see a full body profile as well. And as we can see from this example, if she were to stand up over at that cabinet and bow to the device, we would see a full body profile. So I'm just using that as an example of how to visually set up your area and things to consider as well. The next thing that I'm going to show is a screenshot of the intro. So in previous concerts, Mrs. F or Miss Michelle would be introducing the students up at the stage, but one of the modifications for Zoom is it's a little more appropriate if a student takes ownership and greeting their guests in the Zoom room. So I'm going to screen share right now to show you the key talking points. Both Mrs. F and Miss Michelle will share these with parents as well, but feel free to grab a screen grab. I hope you can see the right screen right now. Should be showing the student intros. What is your name? So starting with your name. What level or levels of music are you studying? How long have you been studying music? For some of the MYC students that are listening, you could include a line about I started music when I was in Sunshine 1. What is one thing you like about music? And the last sentence that you're going to say is today I'm going to be performing the name of the song. And for us upper level students, so not so much Sunshine 1, but let's say Moonbeam 3 and higher, you can also include the composer's name. So who is the composer of the song that you're doing? So I'm going to stop screen sharing if I did that effectively, and I'm going to give you an example of that a speech. So if Miss Michelle were performing. So as I mentioned, when you're standing up, this would be one consideration for the opening speech. If you are standing too far away from the device, the people who are listening can't hear what you're saying. So one thing that we need to consider in the Zoom environment is that the device is picking up our voice. So you're probably noticing that my voice is getting louder and louder, but now when I come here to the device, this is too close because now you can't see my face when I'm speaking. So these are things to think about and to work through in the home environment. For some people, based on how your room is set up, it may be more appropriate to deliver your speech from a sitting perspective. It may be more appropriate from a standing perspective. So these are the kinds of things to kind of work through and think about as you're preparing in these coming weeks. So in my case, it does make more sense. You can see visually on the screen that you can see my smiling face. And in this case, it would make more sense for me to sit in this environment as opposed to standing up and making sure that my voice is carrying through to the microphone. So, Miss Michelle will introduce herself. My name is Miss Michelle. I have a level 10 RCM piano and the equivalent of harmony and theory requirements as well, level 4 and harmony and history as well. How long have I been studying music? I started when I was 3 years old in the Sunshine 1 program, and I have, between Mrs. F and myself, we have a combined 50 plus years of teaching experience between us, so we go way, way back. One thing that I like about music is sharing this with people like yourselves. Is one thing to play music on your own and to be in your own environment, but it really is a gift to be able to share it with other people. So that's one thing that I really enjoy. Today, I'm going to be performing the Gentle Waltz by Oscar Peterson. So that's an example of the speech. Then you would go to your piano, get yourself set up, with your hands. Are you pedaling? Make sure your foot is on the pedal for those that are using that as well. Are you playing from memory? Do you want to have your book in front of you or do you want to play without the book? That would depend on a case-by-case basis. Take a deep breath and play your song. When you're finished, this is part of the end of the performance, I'm going to ask everyone to unmute their microphones and applaud so we can hear the applause. And so when you stand up, as I mentioned earlier, you need to learn how to position yourself for the bow. So for example, I am right close to the device, and as you can see, it would be very strange if I did a bow. So when you are bowing, you're going to find the area of your room that would make sense. In this case, when I stand further back, you can see my full body profile, and I'm going to take a bow from that position. All right, so I mentioned that at the beginning of this video. I will reiterate it at the end of the video. Practice, practice, practice. The recital's coming soon. Please remember to invite your guests. One of the benefits of this online recital is you are in a position to invite people that you may have never been able to invite before due to proximity and scheduling and whatnot. So please get the word out, and we can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Happy practicing, everyone.